Hi everybody. I hope you are doing super well today, and in today's video, a new video type for you, which is phonetics, in order to help you pronouncing like native. In this video, we are going to start with the very basics of phonetics, the French alphabet. Let's start with the main part, teaching you the alphabet. First of all, the French alphabet is the same than English, no letters more, no letters less. The only difference is that sometimes there will be some accents on some letters, but I will cover it on dedicated videos. First, I want to explain you how I will teach you the alphabet. What we are going to do is to learn letter after letter, with explanations. So I will pronounce the letter once, after that I will give you explanations on how to pronounce the letter, and right after, you will have 5 seconds to practice, and I will pronounce it once again, to allow you verifying that you have done it well. So we first start with the letter A.
A.
So, there are different things to be taken into account in order to pronounce this letter well. You need to have your mouth open normally. I mean, not widely or tightly. About the tongue position, you need your tongue to be in front and close to the lower teeth. Last important point is that your lips have to be in a normal position. By normal, I mean that you don't need to pull them to the sides, nor to be rounded like the O letter.
A.
So, I repeat the pronunciation of the A letter, in French.
A.
Letter B is the next one we are going to cover. It's pronounced
B.
in French. Again, I wrote the 3 important aspects meanwhile pronouncing this letter. About the mouth, I can tell you that you need to make it move meanwhile pronouncing. So, you start to pronounce it with your mouth closed, and you open it meanwhile pronouncing it. This letter is one of the letters that has a plosive sound. About your tongue, you also need to place it in front and close to the lower teeth. The lips have a normal position to pronounce this letter correctly.
B.
Now, I let you hear the pronunciation once again.
B.
What about letter C? In French, we pronounce it
C.
The letter C has different characteristics to be pronounced well. First, you need your mouth to be slightly opened. And you also need your tongue to be in front the lower teeth, and it also need to touch your teeth to make the correct sound. About your lips, it's important that you pull them to the side, and finally, your lower and upper teeth need to touch each other, or at least being very close one from each other.
C.
You can hear it once again.
C.
Letter D is the next one.
D.
Your mouth need to be opened, not so much. You should just be able to put your finger between your lips. About your tongue, it has to be in front and on the upper teeth, but meanwhile pronouncing, your tongue has to go down, and behind your lower teeth.
D. D.
The letter E is pronounced
E.
What you need to do is, having your mouth open. Your tongue needs to be in front and close to your lower teeth. Also, you need to have your lips slightly rounded to facilitate the pronunciation.
E. E.
What about learning the particularities about the letter F?
F.
The first thing is that your mouth need to close during the pronunciation, just to let a little bit of air flows out of your mouth. At first, the sound seems strange, because it's like if it was someone that doesn't succeed in whistling, but that's the normal pronunciation. About your tongue, it needs to be in front and close to the lower teeth. Finally, your lips are normal, so not rounded or pulled to the sides.
F. F.
The 7th letter is G, and we pronounce it
G.
As always, we are going to cover three aspects that are essential in pronunciation: mouth, tongue and lips. First, your mouth needs to be open not too widely, just normally. About your tongue, it needs to be in front and close to the upper teeth. If your tongue is too low, the pronunciation is really hard, and doesn't sound great, so be careful about it. Last important point, is that your lips need to be slightly rounded.
G, G,
Next one is H.
H,
For this letter, you need to have your mouth open normally, and you also need to have your tongue in front and close to the upper teeth. Concerning your lips, there is nothing special to be done.
H, H,
The pronunciation of the letter I is very different in French compared to English, and we pronounce it.
I,
Your mouth need to be open normally, and your tongue has to be in front, and close to your lower teeth. Also, if you pull your lips to the side slightly, it will help you in pronouncing it correctly.
I, I, J,
Is the French pronunciation. In order to master the pronunciation of this letter in French, you need to follow the following advices. Your mouth need to be opened a bit more than normally, and also your tongue has to be in front, and close to your upper teeth. Relating to your lips, they need to be pulled to the sides. Finally, you also need your upper and lower teeth to be almost touching each other.
J, J,
What about the K letter? We pronounce it
K,
What you need to know about this letter is that, you need your mouth to be opened, your tongue in the middle of your mouth, and there is nothing special about your lips, they just need to be normal.
K, K,
Let's move on to the letter L. In French, the pronunciation is.
L,
As almost all the letters, your mouth needs to be open normally, but what is important to notice is that your tongue needs to move from lower teeth to the palate. Regarding your lips, you just need to let them normal, which means not pulled to the sides nor rounded.
L, L,
13th letters, which means we are about to cover half of the letters. So the letter
M,
An important aspect to notice is that your mouth moves during the pronunciation, and it needs to move from open to closed, and reopen before the end of the pronunciation. It might be a bit complex at the beginning, but it helps to pronounce this word well. Concerning your tongue, it needs to be close to your lower teeth. On the other hand, there is nothing special about lips.
M, M,
Let's move on to the last 13th letters, and it starts with the letter N.
N,
Probably the easiest letter, because I personally pronounce this letter the same way in French and in English. But anyway, let me explain you how to pronounce it properly. Your mouth needs to be open normally during the whole pronunciation. And your tongue needs to go frontward in the direction of your upper teeth. There is nothing special about your lips to be done.
N, N,
What about pronouncing the letter O in French?
O.
There is nothing special about the mouth to be mentioned. Also for the tongue, it just need to be close to the lower teeth. What changes compared to the previous letters is that your lips need to be rounded, just like the letter O.
O. O.
Next one is P. In French, we pronounce it
P,
It's another plosive letter, just like the letter B that we have seen in the beginning of the video. Therefore, for this letter, like the other plosive letters, you also need your mouth to be closed at the beginning, and to open it meanwhile pronouncing it. As almost all the letters, your tongue need to be close to the lower teeth, and your lips normal.
P, P,
Q letter is the following one. The pronunciation of this letter in French is
Q,
For this letter, you need to have your mouth opened, your tongue touching your lower teeth and your lips rounded.
Q, Q,
Our letter is the next one. In French, we pronounce it.
R,
So, it's one of the letters that are complex to pronounce for foreigners. I hope my indication will help you. Your mouth has to be open normally, and your tongue close to your lower teeth. Also, there is nothing special about lips. What makes the pronunciation special is that you need to pronounce it with the throat. Don't hesitate in practicing, to improve your pronunciation, and makes it as close as possible to native speakers.
R, R,
An easier letter is S.
S,
There are some specificities to know about this letter, and it's especially about the fact the lips are pulled, but also because the lower and upper teeth are touching each other, or they are very close to each other.
S, S,
There are some important aspects to know about the letter T.
T,
First, to pronounce it well, your mouth has to be slightly opened, your tongue is on the upper teeth, and goes down during the pronunciation. Also, for a better pronunciation, you need to pull to the side your lips.
T, T,
Another letter where the pronunciation changes a lot compared to English is
U,
In order to pronounce it correctly, you need your mouth to be open normally, your tongue close to your lower teeth, and your lips rounded.
U, U,
This letter is important to pronounce well, because it will be useful for the next letter as well. But first, let's focus on this letter.
V,
To pronounce it correctly, you need to have your mouth closed, and opened it during the pronunciation. Also, your tongue needs to be close to your lower teeth, and there is nothing to be done concerning lips.
V, V,
As I said before, for this letter, we need to know the pronunciation of the letter V, because we pronounce it.
W,
To pronounce
double,
correctly, you need to close your mouth before pronouncing the B, because it's a plosive letter, and your tongue needs to go down twice. Also, your lips needs to be rounded. After that, you can pronounce the letter V, the same way we have seen before.
W, W,
Let's move to X letter, that we pronounce.
X,
What you need to know about this letter, is that your mouth needs to be open normally, your tongue need to be low. About your lips, it's like your mouth, nothing special needs to be done.
X, X,
The Y letter is one of the hard letters to pronounce in French. We pronounce it.
Y,
There are some particularities to pronounce it well, but concerning the mouth, it just needs to be open normally. Also, the tongue just has to be low in the mouth, but the lips has to be slightly pulled to the sides in order to pronounce it correctly.
Y, Y,
And the last letter.
Z,
What you need to know, in order to pronounce it well, is that you need to open your mouth normally, your tongue needs to be low, in order to make it as close as native pronunciation. It can go up in the end of the pronunciation to make a slight French D sound. Also, pulling your lips to the sides help in pronouncing it well. Last point is that your upper and lower teeth are getting slightly further one from each other during the pronunciation.
Z. Z.
Alright, now that you have learnt the complete alphabet, we can move on to the exercises. The exercise that you are going to do right now is to guess what is the first letter of the word I'm going to pronounce, and every word will be pronounced twice. So let's start with the first word, which is
Choucroute. Choucroute.
So, as you can see, this word starts with a C letter. Let's move on to the next word.
Voiture. Voiture.
This word is more famous than the previous one, and as you can see, it starts with a V letter. What about this new word? How does it start?
Suzanne. Suzanne.
It's a first name that starts with an S letter. The next word is
Toiture. Toiture.
As you can see, it starts with an T letter. Another word where I want you to guess the first letter is
Montagne. Montagne.
M is the first letter of this word. And the last word for today's video is
Chaussure. Chaussure.
So, the word shoes in French starts with an C letter. Alright. So, it's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if it's the case, you can press the like button, subscribe to receive notifications when I post new videos, and also share this video with people interested in learning French. Thank you for watching. See you soon.